Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm Christine Kidder-Graves, career coach, helping you have work that works for you so we can all ditch the drain of work that does not energize us. We need work that energizes us so we can really show up in all areas of your life. That's really important. So anyway, I'm happy to talk today about networking and connecting. I prefer to refer to it as connecting because I think that's what it really is. And when I hear networking, I think of computers and computer networks and all that stuff. But today's what I'm talking about today is the 3 reasons why you're not very good at connecting with others on LinkedIn and how to get better. So again, it's the 3 reasons why you're not very good at networking or connecting. Let's just use the connecting term because that is the better one. So anyway, the first thing I'm just going to jump right in is your mindset. When you hear the word networking or connecting, are you thinking of it as a necessary evil? Is it something that you just don't want to do? You're resistant to it. Take note of how you felt as soon as I said that, or when you hear that word connection, connecting, or networking. Really take note of how you feel, because right there, that's a sign that you have the wrong mindset. If you don't start off with the right mindset, you're not going to be very successful, or it's just going to be harder to do a good job. Okay. So let's talk about how you can reframe your mindset regarding connecting with others on LinkedIn. First of all, realize that that's how things happen. That's how you find a job. And I bet you probably with one of the jobs in your past, think about all the jobs that you've had and how did you find them? They probably were through at least one of those jobs that you had was through someone that you knew. And that's really important to note and to be aware of. And going forward, jobs that you'll find will be through people that you know. It's just a fact. And you might have applied through a job posting, but was there someone at that company that knew you who could refer you? Even references. Most employers are still checking references. And that's a way of verifying, yeah, we want to hire this person, but we need to check their references. And that is someone who's verifying your work history. So your mindset is crucial to pay attention to that. Don't see it as a necessary evil. Think about how you have strengths and skills to offer. Another thing that could impact your mindset is having a negative mindset is thinking, I don't want to be asking people for help. I don't want to bother people. And we feel uncomfortable. Many of us feel uncomfortable asking for help. It's not easy to do that. But think about it in another way, change your perspective on it, and think about how you're giving others an opportunity to help you. You're giving others the opportunity to be of service and to be what they're really good at. A really good book. If you are doing a job search right now, and even if you're not, if you want to be prepared for future job search, and you should always be connecting with others. But a really good book is The 2-Hour Job Search by Steve Dalton. And in the book, he talks about people that are boosters. So there's a lot of people here on LinkedIn that are boosters. And then there's people that you've worked with who are boosters. And what does he mean by boosters? Boosters are people that really want to help. They want to help others. They want to pay it forward. They get it. They know that it's through connection that people get hired, people get promoted, all these things happen. So you, in your connection work, you want to especially be on the lookout for those boosters who are really, really good at it. Because you can learn from them and also they'll help you. And if you can have the opportunity to help them, that would be a good thing. So again, ask yourself who out there, what employers out there need my help? And they need help in finding you. Okay. And that's why connecting is great work because it helps you to be found. it's really hard as, doing hiring. And I'm sure many of you have been in that situation when you've had to hire people as well. It's hard to find the right person for that role. And whatever we can do to help the process. So by you connecting, you're getting out of hiding and people can find you. It's a lot easier. So use those reframes with your mindset. Again, it's like somebody out there could really use you in a role. So they're here and you're here. And whatever you can do to get closer, to get discovered, to get found, to get matched up with that opportunity, that's what you want to do. So yeah, so that's the first thing. The second thing, oh, and by the way, I attended I belong to some networking groups. So one of the networking groups I belong to, which is the Elite group that's in the Chicago area, and it's for finance, accounting, and HR leaders. Great group, has been around for, gosh, I think at least 10 years. But anyway, it's a really good supportive group. And the presentation was about pitfalls of networking. And Joe Baker did a tremendous job. So shout out to Joe. So this is kind of like my summary of his presentation too. Okay. So, and based on what I know and my experience and what I recommend, but he actually refers to this thing as like underestimating your residual and your resilience. The way I describe this point number 2, or this second reason that you're terrible at connecting with others, I think of it more as emotional intelligence, or EQ. Okay. And what it is just you really need to have a good reading and be in touch with your emotional intelligence, your self-awareness. Because if you're in job search mode, really recognizing what happened with your transition, like why are you looking right now? What happened? You might have to deal with that first. If you lost your job, if it wasn't a great situation, if you were impacted by layoffs, whatever the situation was that you found yourself in, you need to address that and you need to help yourself so you can move forward. You don't want to get stuck in that. And also taking care of your management of that too. So that's really important. I think it's what it comes down to is, again, emotional intelligence and really knowing where your energy is at. What are you ready to take on? What are you ready to do? And if you have any negative feelings from your last employer, maybe it was what happened, if it was a toxic work environment, that may come through when you're talking with people, when you're connecting with people. And do you really want that to come through? So I think it has to be dealt with first. So you need to ask yourself the questions of what were all the circumstances for me, not having my job, losing it for whatever reason. Why am I looking right now? And just, really making sure that you're dealing with that so you can move forward, because again, you can't ignore it. It's going to be there. So really paying attention to your EQ, and then moving forward with that, knowing that this is what I can do, getting clear on your brand. How are you helpful to others? How are you invaluable to others? And, really, again, being able to do the connection work with that. Okay, so that was pitfall number 2, not really having an awareness of your emotional intelligence. Okay, the third thing is just not connecting well, not being very good at it. And let me elaborate on that further. Okay. To really be a good connector, one of the biggest skills is listening. You need to be a good listener. We all need to be a good listener. We were given 2 ears for a reason. So you want to be such a good listener that the person that you're listening to they feel like they're the only one in the room. And I think some celebrities that many of us know about, like Barbara Walters, and I think Howard Stern is very good at this too. When they interview someone, I think that they do a good job of pulling information out of them because they're so focused on that person. And I'm sure that person feels like they are the only person in the room. There's just like a rapport, a connection is made, and the person feels like they are the only one in the room. So you definitely want to do that. So be a good listener, and you need to be an effective communicator. So you want to make sure you're listening, because this will be an opportunity for you too to be of service to them. So when you're making connections out there, again, no matter what your job search mode, if you're looking or not looking, you want to listen. So you're paying attention to how you can help this person, how you can be of service to them. Every time when I have a conversation with a connection or even a new connection, so someone that I haven't talked with before, I get these intuitive hits. And most of the time, they are who I should connect this person with. Like, who would be a really good person for out of my connections for me to connect this person with? And I usually, like, I was on a call yesterday with someone I had worked with, gosh, over 15 years ago, I think. I think it was that long. Yeah. Or maybe 13, whatever. But anyway, in talking with her, I thought of at least two of my connections that I should connect her with. And then also too, we are going to have another call. We're going to stay in touch. I mean, we've stayed in touch all this time, but I think we're going to talk a little bit more frequently right now, because she is actually in transition mode. She is looking for a new position. Um, so that's the key reason why you really want to listen to someone, so you can know what it is that they need, how you can be of service. And then also too, maybe they're telling you about some companies or some opportunities or whatever. So of course, again, if you're in job search mode, you're going to want to listen to that and pay attention to that. And then you want to think about what kinds of questions to ask them. Okay, like what specifically do you need to ask them, that will help you with your search? It's not as like, hey, do you have a job for me? So it's like, okay, what kind of information can this person share with me? What do I think this person might know that will help me with my search, or just with my networking activity? Like, what companies are you targeting in your search? Or if you're not doing a job search, what companies are on your watch list? What companies are you interested in? So this is a good segue into, because I said like about 15 minutes in, I would be talking about planning and structure and follow up. And also too, I mean, this is all tied to, many of you are so busy. That's the biggest reason that I hear. And then I heard in the presentation that I went to last Friday of why people don't want to network. They don't want to make the time. They don't want to connect with people because they don't feel that they have the time. They view it as something time consuming. And again, we are all so busy. But again, remember, busy is an excuse. And you want to think about your values, your core values. What is most important to you? To me, one of my core values is being connected with other people. I'm not just saying connections so I can tell you I have over 20,000 connections on LinkedIn. No, to have real connection. That's important. So you want to make sure that you are blocking out the time, but it doesn't have to be a lot of time at all. In my master classes and, with my clients, start with as little as 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day. And you can use the LinkedIn app to help you with that. You don't have to really pick up the phone per se. Like, I would recommend using LinkedIn messaging to reach out to people first. Also, too, get a calendar link that you can send to people to make it really easy to block out the actual time to have a live conversation. Those calendar links are great. They make it super easy. And I'm seeing a lot more of them. So that's great that people are utilizing them. So using LinkedIn, getting a calendar link if you don't have one. However, I should take it a step back because your connection activity should be organized. You need a system. You need a way to organize it. And one of my clients, who is a marketing business development leader, uses HubSpot. Uses HubSpot for free and uses that to manage his connection activity. And this way he knows where to go, who to reach out to first, because it can be overwhelming if you don't have like a compass or a system that guides you on who you need to connect with, with your job search. So that's good. I know some people are very good with Google Sheets, so you could use Google Sheets to help you with that. Also, kind of centering it around. So it would be like a target company list. That's really what I recommend. Absolutely. If you are doing a job search, you need to have a target company list, but you don't use it in the traditional sense of just like using it as a dumping ground for the companies that you've interviewed at or that you've sent resumes to. No, you should be tracking that, but this is for your connection activity. And I really, to have it all in one spot is ideal. And that's why my client likes the CRM. But you really need to have a target company list. And again, if it doesn't matter if you're in job search mode or not. If you're not in job search mode, have like a watch list of companies, because you always want to be prepared. Like, if you were to lose your job today, what would be the companies that you would be interested in, that you would target for your next role? And look at your connections that you have. Maybe you don't have any connections at a lot of those companies. Maybe you do. Those are the people you'll reach out to. But you do want to do that. So target company list using a system like HubSpot or Google Sheets, and then using LinkedIn messaging. It can make it so easy. So starting with LinkedIn messaging and then having a calendar link to send to people so it's easier. That facilitates getting on the phone and having a live conversation or doing a Zoom, because in the old days, I think it was a lot easier to make a phone call and someone would pick up the phone. But now, it really doesn't happen. But that's why the calendar link and LinkedIn messaging really helps to block out that time to have the live conversation. So that's important as well. So getting back to blocking out the time in your schedule to start doing it. Just do it for 5 minutes. Either if you use your LinkedIn app to make it easy. So put in time. Maybe it's at 12 noon, or maybe it's at the end of your day. Although that might get pushed off too many times. So when we do something earlier in the day, it's more likely to happen. So I would encourage you to try to block it in the first half of your day, either in the morning or maybe for a midday break, and just start with 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, you can start with reaching out to an existing connection, I like to think of it as a warm connection, because they know you. Okay. And then the next day, that 5 minutes, you can reach out to try to make a new connection. Look at where, again, your watch list of companies or your target companies, where do you need a connection? Okay. So, and make a connection request that way. Or maybe you can ask one of your existing connections to make an introduction so you can make a new connection. So try to leverage that too. The biggest thing I want to wrap up with is make this a regular habit. And Atomic Habits by James Clear is a tremendous book. And really, it shows how it doesn't take a lot to have these habits for a small piece of time during our day that are very impactful. And connecting is the key that will help you so much in your career. So I encourage you to get started today. Don't be one of those people that only reaches out to people when you're looking for a new job. Stay in contact with people. I know there are people in my network who I only hear from them when they are in job search mode. And then once they land a new job, I don't hear from them for years and years and years. But don't do that. People want to hear from you. People want to be connected with you. And you have a lot to offer. So again, work on your mindset, be aware of your EQ, and use your listening. Use your listening to connect well with people. That's the number one thing that I would highlight for you. And then, to get it into your schedule and to make time for it, block it out in your calendar, starting with only 5 minutes a day, and use those systems that I recommended to you, because we can leverage systems. Why not make it as easy for yourself as possible? Because if you don't, then you're not going to do it. All right, everyone, have a great week. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Bye now.